So this will be the beginning of the stream, and as it stands, let's just take a look at this. So, as you can see, Tandem Fairwind and Vars Fairwind, they're the same person. Just a disclaimer. I also gotta set up chat in a moment. There. But what we're gonna do is I got the player's handbook with me, and I'm on chapter. Still is part 1, really. It's like 124, and I'm basically going to be doing personality, background, all that sort of stuff, like the roleplay-esque sort of stuff, figuring out the character, the history, all the things that drive the character, because I want to I kind of want to feel as though I know what's going on before I go in. That's something that happened with my previous character that kind of had a problem, was that I was running a paladin. Sorry. There's been a lot going on recently with some friends and stuff, so I've been trying to help them out. But yeah, so I was running a paladin, and I was trying to do a thematic. I was inspired by Pike from Critical Role in the sense of I really like the idea of a class that's relatively boring to me, not mechanically, just the idea of it. So the goody two shoes, like the Supermen of the universe, I just don't. It doesn't really appeal to me. And so what I was deciding is maybe I should do something that, for example, Pike kind of was showing in the Critical Role, where it's well, let's go against archetype and let's present a less than wholesome priest kind of character, and so that was kind of the really cool thing that I found with her character, is that she's the type of person that is incredibly nice and empathetic and has a lot of traits that you would expect from that sort of class, like a cleric. But at the same time, she didn't just throw down the other side of most clerics. It's she also is just as much open-minded towards all ideals. And so for example, she was completely cool with Scanlan's kind of gallivanting and that sort of behavior, and she understood the primal nature of her friend Grog and stuff, and it's just it's cool, right? It kind of made her character cool in a way, not lame. And so I kind of wanted to go through a Phoenix-esque kind of character, in the Marvel series, where I had a Vengeance Paladin who would struggle with the idea of virtue and heroism and that sort of thing, but the fury would be his main weakness, and so he would have to try and keep control of himself, and he was supposed to be really young, and so he just had this untapped holy power within him, that as a Vengeance Paladin he could release in aggressive ways, and that he would have to try and learn to master himself and that sort of thing, which isn't anything completely new or whatever, but I thought it would just be really cool dynamic. It didn't really fit the party too well that we have right now, which is a huge problem for me. Also, it's hard because that's kind of hard for me as a new player. Usually I'm running as a DM, and so I have a lot of shallow-esque characters that slowly get developed over time in their interactions with characters. I never really have to flesh out characters by themselves, and so motives and everything else like that, and inner turmoils and stuff, it's a lot harder for me to really get that out there, and so that's something that I'm learning. And so to have a character in which I didn't want to play someone that's virtuous, but someone that wants to be virtuous at the same time is seeking to even the scales, and so he's dealing with this weird moral choice between is it okay that I feel the way that I do about things. And I didn't have the idea fully fleshed out. Like even now when I'm explaining it, like I don't really have it completely fleshed out at all. And so it's just really tricky. And that was kind of my main problem. And so just a heads up, by the way, guys, I'm going to be turning my sound off on my phone because I don't have a second monitor right now. But what I'm going to do is have chat on my phone for Twitch. So if you guys are interested in chatting, or you have something to say, or you want to say hi, it would be preferred to be run through run it through the Twitch, but it's no big deal. I'll probably have Restream underneath the notepad in a second. That might actually be a better idea. But anyway, tangents aside, live stream and all, I decided to make a new character because it's kind of interesting to change things up and go like against class and against archetype when you are a little bit more familiar with everything. And I'm still kind of learning what it means to be like a player rather than a person that runs things. And so it just became difficult, and I found myself being either a, you know, hunter's marked, like smite dealing halberd, one-shotting berserker one moment, and then, you know, the next moment I'm playing healer and all of my allies are struggling. And so it just like created this weird, also mechanically awkward character because our comp isn't really healy and we don't really have any resources early levels. And so we were finding that many of our characters were just getting overrun really quickly and they were really struggling, and so they kind of needed me to come in and use certain like concentration spells and like my very few spells per day to help them. And then I was just kind of controlling space as a fighter, you know, the other side of the paladin. And that makes it really difficult because when I only have, I think it was only 3 spells at a time every single day, it's really hard even in one combat encounter that's a little bit longer, where it's like, okay, do I use my smite or will I need my heal? Because, you know, do I need my cure wounds? And so like it's an interesting strategic choice, but it generally ended up being like, hey, I need, like, it's not a choice, it's cure wounds, I have to use cure wounds, I have to like rely on that. And so maybe this character idea would be really cool in another party or another story, but in the meantime I decided that, yeah, this is probably not a good idea, this is probably not the best thing for me, and we can move on and try something different. And so what I decided on, just opening up the chat here, so what I ended up deciding on was this character. Now both of the names are different, as I said before, they're both the same character. I'm debating on the first name, but I am keeping the Fairwind clan, and I think Tannum is probably not going to be the name. It just doesn't feel natural to me. That's something that I'm like not too happy with, but so I'll figure that one out relatively soon. So let's just close that. Okay, so what I have here is the rolled bard that I'm going to be running, and he essentially, mechanically wise, there we go, we got the little chat down. So mechanically wise, we have this character, and his rolls were actually pretty good. I got like 14, like 3 times in a row. Like those, it wasn't even like while I was rolling these stats, like I got 14 and then something, then 14 and then something. Like it was just like literally 14, 14, 14. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I think I was 11, 12, and 16. It was like ridiculously decent rolls, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna get +2 constitution, +1 dexterity because I'm an air genasi, So already, placing these where I need them to be placed, like I could have reversed Dexterity and Constitution. Um, I guess I couldn't because both of them are 14. But um, I just ended up notching my strength down because I was like, I might even notch it down another point just because like it feels as though I don't have a lot of weaknesses, and bards already have jack of all trades and everything, so like it just is a bit messy. So I think what I'm gonna do is probably notch the strength down one, even though I rolled pretty decent, because I feel like a character needs flaws, not just like personality flaws, but also like mechanical flaws. But anyway, mechanic wise, things are looking pretty up and up. We have great charisma, like phenomenal charisma for level 4. We also have real good, because we have jack of all trades, we have jack of all trades, and we also have expertise, and we also have the skill proficiency of bards, where you get to choose what you want, and then you also have, I'm going to lore college, so that's also 3 more skill proficiencies, right? So you have 6, and then I went sage, but I sacrificed one of the proficiencies out of all of those that I just mentioned for the ability to have proficiency in thieves' tools, and I'll get to that in a little bit. So essentially what I got is I'm proficient in Arcana, I believe History, I just haven't fixed that yet. So I'm proficient in Stealth, Sleight of Hand, Deception, Persuasion, and History. And Investigation, yeah. And then I lost my 7th trait to Thieves' Tools. That's what it was. Yeah, and then I have 2 languages that I got from Sage. I have a feeling like I'm missing a proficiency somewhere. No. Okay, cool. So yeah. So it's Arcana, History, Investigation. Then you have Sleight of Hand, Acrobatic, Stealth, and then you have Deception and Persuasion, which is the 7, and the 8th I cut out because I needed Thieves' Tools, and then we have the 2 languages. So there we go. So that's kind of the whole thing. So he's essentially going into the Bard of Lore as an Air Genasi, chaotic neutral. He's very free-spirited, very anti-hero, and the heroic aspect is very self-indulgent, and so that's why I'm not exactly putting him at a chaotic good, and because he doesn't really have a code. He thinks that anything goes if the ideals are important enough, and he understands that each person is different and that each person is going to have those goals that they will do anything for. And he doesn't really believe in the facade of law because he feels as though every man in existence, regardless of race, has something that they will die for. And, some people will say, oh, well, I will die for my honor, or I'll die for, my kingdom. But what happens when your kingdom ends up betraying you? Like Mace Windu with the Republic. That's kind of the same mentality there. Or what happens when your honor is threatened by someone that is false and is falsely accusing you of something. Like when someone is pressed enough, they will eventually break, and they will do whatever needs to be done. And in their minds, that's to uphold law, but in his mind, that's just you're forsaking everything that you stood for in order to maintain your facade. And so he kind of sees it that way, where there will always be something in which people will sacrifice everything for, and that they are willing to do anything for. And so he is completely accepting of that in his mind, which validates his behavior, and completely in his mind, frees him from any moral, like, morality or anything else like that. And so it becomes dangerous. Like, he is more weighted towards doing good, and his whole goal is for doing good, but it is in a very self-indulgent way, and he's not afraid of committing evil if he feels as though it's justified. And so it kind of puts him in a really rocky place, morally wise. And so it's a lot easier to just say chaotic neutral, because it's like, you know, the guy isn't afraid of sacrificing an innocent, for example, if he is going to be unlocking secrets that could potentially, like, advance a civilization like hundreds of years by some sort of magical discovery or something like that. You know what I mean? And so, like, the average hero, whether they're chaotic or lawful, would be like, no, like, this is wrong. We should be able to find a way to save that individual, as well as possibly getting the advancement. Or, like, what is the point of sacrificing a civilization to advance another one? You know what I mean? Like, and so the way that they might come down to the same decision, but the way that they weigh things is way different than Varys does, or Fairwind. And so that kind of puts him in a kind of, as best as I can, chaotic neutral standpoint. In some regards, in my eyes, he's almost chaotic evil, because he is just completely self-indulgent, and he's completely what is it called? Like, he's doing everything for his own gain, and for everything involves him in some way. So, for example, his whole overall goal, which I'm getting to in motivators here, is he's looking to redeem himself, but not only redeem himself, to prove everyone that they were always wrong and that he was always right. And so he's kind of deluded in that way, in the sense of, like, he thinks that, like, all of the life's problems out there are a fault of the universe, or of, you know, some misunderstanding, or can easily, or presented as challenges for him to solve, right? And it's very him based. What program is that for your character creation? Hey, what's up, Riftles? So what I'm using isn't a program, actually. It's a Google Docs that we have, that my friend found a that my friend found a character sheet for. So this is actually just a Google document. If you Google search Player's Handbook, like 5e, like a player sheet, you should be able to find one. If not, if you give me a little bit, I might be able to even grab our fresh one for you. I just would need to find a way of giving that to you without giving you... I'm new to Google Docs, personally, as silly as that sounds. But yeah, we just use Google Docs, and we found a file in which we can use that allows that, and then I just delete all the information. And it's kind of like an Excel document, in the sense that, like, if I change the strength score, it will change my athletics and my saving throws automatically based off of, like, the D&D rules and everything. So let me see. Oh, thank you. Yeah, like I said, I'm a bit nervous because I feel like the rolls are a bit high. Like, I actually rolled all of them in a row, and I rolled like 3 14s. So I'm thinking of just throwing my strength down a little bit, because it's pretty rolled high, and he's a bard, right? So, like, he's already going to be pretty decent at a lot of things. But it's going to be fun. I really like I'm looking for a character who's a bit like a mixture of Indiana Jones, Sherlock Holmes, and Doctor Who-esque, where he is looking to pursue knowledge, and he's looking to understand the material plane mostly, and finding secrets that people normally have not found. And that's kind of the Indiana Jones aspect. But he's very intuitive, curious, and logical based, which is very like Sherlock Holmes. His personality is a little bit more like the Doctor Who aspect, where he's very caught up in himself, and he's very like self-driven and carefree and that sort of thing. And so that's where all three kind of mix in together. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And then that way it will drop me down, because even with Jack of all trades, it narrows it down to a 0. Alright, so that way, you know, he's not totally crazy. But yeah, he's kind of fun. I'm wondering about spells. I think right now I'm doing a lot of kind of utility stuff, because we have like a lot of characters that are damagey and that sort of stuff, combat-y. So I have things like Cure Wounds and Identify and Fairy Fire and Invisibility and Crown of Madness, Bane, that sort of stuff. So I'm hoping that that's kind of what we're gonna go at, and then I'll be more of a social explorer kind of character, because that's what he's about right now. Like, my party's meeting my character because I'm doing a reroll, and I kind of wanted a character that just like, he has a rapier. If he needs to use it, he can. He's not the greatest fighter in the world, but you know, he's never really had to fight all that much, and so he never really needs too many spells and that sort. Over time, you know, traveling with a party and possibly finding more secrets of the universe and all that sort of stuff, he might end up being inspired and using his magical secrets to learn, you know, aggressive spells and stuff like that. And maybe I'll learn like Destructive Wave and stuff like that. Maybe Ice Storm. I haven't decided yet. I want to do something a little bit more like storm and ice and wind based, just to continue with the theme of the Air Genasi. But yeah, so essentially Varus, because I need to rename the Tandem. That's just a screen cap that I put up there for you guys. I'm thinking of motivators in his past, and so I'm making up a kingdom that is in the floating islands of the airplane, and they're gonna be run by a number of clans, and the clans every generation will vote using each representative of each clan, and down to the vote, whoever wins ends up being the clan that runs for another generation. And his clan, while he was a little kid, ends up just losing, being second. And his clan is a little pretentious, and they didn't like that. And so being so close to that prize, they end up overcompensating, and he ends up growing up being a constant disappointment, because he's not like the rest of the Tempest Ridge, which is a very like high up classist kind of group. Like, they're all like experts at what they do, and they're very structured, and they're very like focused. And so like the scholars are very focused, and they always do things that they feel are supposed to be like they bring like positive input that is guaranteed. Like, for example, if it was science, they would be researching whatever is most relevant to their people, rather than like obscure things that they feel wouldn't be relevant or might not be relevant, sort of thing, right? And so that's where he comes in, because he ends up being like, you know what, why are we looking so much into specific fields that you guys are looking into, when we could also be looking into the material plane, and start looking into the other planes, and start looking at what defines each one and makes them characteristically different, and what makes them the same. And like, because there's outworldly forces out there, like, we're all different and that sort of thing. And he's starting to think really abstract, and it makes him kind of a black sheep. And so they end up dismissing him from the college altogether, and that ends up forcing the clan to kick him out. I mean, not banish him, but just like creatively dismiss him by being like, oh, well, why don't you go out on a secret mission to the material plane and prove that you are right, and like, you know, and come back and show us your findings. And that was like their creative way of nicely getting rid of this character. And so he's in his head is all like, oh yeah, like I'll just go there, I'll prove them all wrong. But deep down he is suspicious that maybe he's just not wanted and he didn't belong. And so this is a journey to find his own identity and to find validity in himself. And so like he feels as though if he completes whatever this journey is, and to find, you know, ancient artifacts, and to find some sort of connection with, you know, history and the arcane and the inner workings of the universe, that maybe he can come back to his home and be like, hey, look, you all were wrong, I was right, like I'm not like crazy, I'm not a terrible person, all that sort of stuff. And he hopes that him being a misfit will end up making him renowned by his people in the end, rather than an outcast. So that's kind of like the whole thing I'm working on right now. And so I'm just working on the Tempest Ridge here. Okay, my friend just asked... Okay. My friend was asking me if I had a spare moment. And then... Okay, well, up to you. Do you play a lot, Riftles? Or are you like someone that's curious into it? I'm just going to be working on this in the meantime. Last Tempest. Value, honor, heart, courage. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Courage, and fuck, what else would that be? Like, I guess justice, but then again, like, they're not very lawful. Like, that's what I'm thinking. They're like more people like Gryffindor in the sense, you know, they describe Gryffindor, where it's like you're good of heart and you're someone that's honest and true and shit. Honor, heart, courage, and loyalty, maybe. And so those are the traits that people are like, okay, well, that makes a good leader. Like, you obviously know that people who are honorable and loyal are going to seek the best interests for the other clansmen. Votive, found Breeze Notice, Titus, the Lost Tempest, honor, heart, courage, and loyalty. That's loss. That was heartbreaking. Oh, Jesus. Manipulating their situation and plan to perfectly accentuate it. As like perfect candidates. free soul even when compared to other. Right, let's see. He questioned the abstract and praised ideas that were already proved. I don't know how to get like to humor potential scenarios that were already solved. What is she saying? Varus is fixated on lore and the connectivity. Ugh, that's such a long word for this document. Connectivity of the multiverse. This includes it would like include like artifacts, you know, gods, history, magic, etc. All of which were considered less academic in the Tempest's Bridge. Well, besides magic, but I guess like magic in here would be besides. I'll like clarify, I guess. Besides magic. Because like the way that I'm trying to see it is like he's seeing the potential of magic as in like the weave, right? Like theory on what connects magic and what is magic and all those sort of things. And they're kind of looking at it as like conjuration, and they're looking at it as like wizards, you know, where it's like, you know, what can we do with transmutation? What can we do with conjuration? What are the inner workings of it, and how does it work, and that sort of stuff, right? Like the physics of it. And he's thinking of the like metaphysics of it. So, and the potential is a big thing too. Well, they're like, why are you looking at potential? I mean, you could just be looking at it analytically, and over time we will discover the potential, right? Like if we already know everything that there is to know about a subject, then everything that can happen from that subject should also already be figured out. So it's just like one of those, their methods are different. So that's already one big reason why he was not someone that fit in very well, because it was just like scholarly he is discredited. He's like, you're devoting so much time and effort, and you're pursuing a field that doesn't exist in the Tempest Ridge, and like there's no reason for it to exist. So like, what, you need to figure your shit out. And he's kind of like, no, like, yeah, this is the way of the future. This is what we need to be doing. Like, if to continue forward, we need to look back. It doesn't help that the guy was also mischievous. Also incredibly careless and self-motivated, indulgent. So sorry for some spelling here. More often getting in trouble or challenging the ways of his people. His training and fighting and such. I don't know, fighting. It'd be like arts, like arts study fighting, and I guess like politics. Politics suffered the most. Also, what am I like the weakest in intelligence? Because I'm not. My character isn't a smart person. He just knows a lot. That's the thing. Nature and religion. Yeah, he does not give a rat's ass about that sort of stuff. Which is kind of funny because, you know, he is trying to figure out all these sort of things, and he's like, well, religion just keeps like. It's a lot more of people like praising and worshiping, and you know, in interaction. And he's less inclined on that. He's more interested in the actual origin and stuff like that. So he's just looking at things at a historic perspective. So yeah, that's something that like the Tempest Ridge wouldn't really care much for either. Like they might have a couple of gods that they would worship, but even then, like it wouldn't be too much. And they would be like specifically oriented. So I guess fighting in politics. In trouble or avoiding or this is where is random mentions of Paris. Titus. What's wrong? And Sportsman. Yeah, he time to time he's probably gonna complain about this guy. Or he's like Iris is kind of like the classic like American jock. Or it's like he's the football, like the quarterback, right? He's got studies at a decent level, and he's doing pretty decent. He's obviously the next in line to run things until the years of their clan running is over, and he also is excelling at what Varus is not doing well at. So, and that's why Iris is celebrated, right? And so sometimes he'll like mention him, especially when he talks about his own sword fighting. He'll be like, yeah, well, I'm no Iris, but like then again, blah 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 blah, and he'll like start really like trying to discredit the guy to make himself feel better, even though people around him just will have no fucking clue what he's talking about. So that's something that we got there. So that's his past, right? So the first one is going to be his past / homeland. And that's kind of like a big thing here. So he has TLDR / motive. He feels like he needs to prove himself. / lacks validity. What else? He's afraid of being lost on a fruitless adventure. And he's also afraid of just being a known. And being someone that his clan looks down on. Wanting to be a reason why the Fairlands are voted in the next generation, as opposed to being a losing party. So that's a big thing, right? It's like he still cares to some degree about like his family and stuff like that, and so he feels as though he needs to come back a hero, or to come back with something, like something huge, like guaranteed 100%. He comes back home and people are like, wow, you are like the next Einstein, like the next person that has just completely changed the way Tempest Ridge is run, or the like everything that they know and stuff like that. And so he carries around this book that hovers around with him, and it's basically, when he says start scene and end scene are his two commands, and when he does these commands in between, the book self-writes itself, and it just writes whatever he says. And so he's relatively flamboyant, he's a bard, and he's essentially going to be writing his adventures and being extremely one-sided. And so it's going to be interesting because he has a number of like personalities. Like, he's not like a multi-personality disorder individual, but he does have personas that he likes to take. And because these the book just writes whatever he says when he uses the command words, there's going to be moments where he could potentially have one of these personas kind of active in his mind. And so it'll read kind of interesting, I hope, where it's just like, oh, like, it almost feels like multiple people wrote the book. But anyway, yes, the past and the homeland thing is going to be huge for him, as well as his natural curiosity and self-indulgence. This I'm putting together because they kind of are supposed to be this like melding pot of just like it's supposed to be like one of the main things that kind of makes his decisions for him. And so, for example, like to him, like I said before, like if a city is about to get wiped out and he has the option to witness it and learn from it and make a potential big breakthrough, he'll let that city go because it's in pursuit of greater knowledge. If he already knows what's going to happen, or he already knows like whatever is going on, then he is obviously going to stop it. Like, he's not an evil person, he doesn't want those people to suffer, but he's the type of person that, like, a demon gets summoned in the middle of a city, everyone's running away, and he's trying to find a place where he can watch it and see what happens, like what its behaviors are, what its tendencies are, how it fights, what it does, like what its motives are and stuff like that, to further understand it. And so that natural curiosity and like his just complete ability to self-indulge and disassociate from the world around him creates this dangerous perspective that he has, where he can just disassociate from his surroundings, and this puts him away from the hero category because he's not a villain. He doesn't proactively do these things, but he sees himself a lot more as a spectator, and this can cause a lot of problems. And so I think that's going to conflict with the party a lot, and I think that's going to be really cool and interesting to see how the party reacts to it, because like, he's not gonna let his party die there, especially early on, because he's gonna be like, well, I'm writing a story here, you know, like a band of adventurers, and I need this party to live. I need this party to, you know, do grand things. And so if they run in there to stop, you know, to save the city or to stop the demon, then he's going to keep them alive. You know, that's what his specialty is. That's what he's got to do. And so it's going to be interesting because it forces, the party was going to force him from being the spectator into being a hero. And over the times, he's going to start realizing, you know what, I'm not just a spectator. You know, I'm a proactive force, and I can make a difference. And maybe he'll be inspired to do more. Who knows? But I want to see that progression. That's like the biggest thing here. It's like, I want him to start as a spectator and to start as someone who's disassociative and who is like kind of indifferent on everything, and is just like, I'm just here for my own gain. Like, I'm just here for my own like motive, which is up there. So natural curiosity, self-indulgence, demon appears in the town square. Everyone runs. Some charge to fight it. Boris finds a comfortable location to observe and study. He isn't pacifist, but considers himself a observer, finding greater use of knowledge than the proactive action, proactive action of stopping such an occurrence. Also, a large magical device threatens to destroy the city. Virus will naturally study the device and prioritize. I like prioritize. Writing it down, what's the word for it? Recording, I guess. The occurrence of the feature. He is very... He's not exactly reactive. He's just very keen on observation and feels the understanding of events are more important than preventing them. He also is partially disassociative. I'm sorry for butchering this word. Disassociative. Towards the material plane and feels no compulsion to aid others unless inspired. This could be promise of reward, which is stereotypical of a lot of overly played neutral characters. Knowledge, obviously. fame, renown, same thing really, and ability to credit the action in his book. This creates a scenario times where he considers if helping would be a good story. The way around this though, because like I read a lot and watch a lot about people talking about over neutral characters where they're constantly like, oh well, I don't know, why do we need to stop that? Like, what really motivates me towards stopping it? And so a lot of the times, like, the more frequent thing that people usually use is greed, where it's like, oh yeah, like, what are you paying though? Like, you know, that sort of thing. But I kind of want something different. I want him to be still, like, proactive. I just want him as a character to not naturally be proactive. I need him to be proactive in some other way, like inspired by something else, right? And so I want him to be inspired by his party members, and then that kind of like kicks his ass into getting along with them, and then that sort of thing. And so I think that's like kind of the key here, right? Is like when you gain that friendship and you gain that kinship, you eventually start learning about other perspectives, and you start learning about, you know, empathy and these sort of things. And what really makes it, like, what really connects everyone is community and empathy and that sort of thing. And so it's not just the weave that connects everything, and it's not just the inner workings of the multiverse. It's also the kinship between one another and that sort of stuff. And it's cheesy, but it's true. Like, you know, if a hero travels the airplane and the Air Genasi are under siege, like, a hero might actually go in and help them and stuff like that. And it's just because it's the right thing, and it's that inner kinship and that inner, like, instinct that we have as human beings, like, outside of the game, where it's like, you know, we want to ensure each other's survival and we want to help each other and stuff. It's like a tribal thing. And so I kind of want to bring that out, where it's like he starts learning empathy and he starts realizing that, you know, races need to help each other, and it's not just about the individual, and it's not just about the knowledge, it's also about greater power, which is, you know, community. And he'll realize that very logically at first, where it's like, wait, if I can use people to gain knowledge, they can, like, get knowledge for me, and like and then he, like, understands networking, and he'll be like, oh my gosh, like, this is so intelligent, like, I just use people to network and I can learn so much. But then, like, eventually he'll learn about empathy and realize that there's greater power, and, like, people work better and all that sort of shit, like morality and stuff, or yeah, morals and stuff. So and then, like, the biggest inspiration towards proactivity is his party members, meeting them live for his book, as well as helping him in his pursuit. And yeah, because there's a billion things. Just like his fondness, I guess, like, as a community, right? Because in the end he is, like, lonely. So TLDR and then slash motive. His biggest motivator is pursuit of knowledge. And is apathetic. He becomes proactive with the party, or the idea of creating a good story or creating a good narrative. There, cool. So I think that's like the big thing here, is like he has his past in his homeland, which means that he needs to go on this quest to really validate himself and to make himself really feel as though he's important, and that what his existence and his time and his effort has been like for something, and that he is going to be someone that his clan can be proud of and remember, for helping his clan end up becoming the next, like whatever you would want to call the role that I need to figure out eventually, to run the Tempest. And you know, his natural curiosity and his self-indulgence is a weird mixture in which it can be very dangerous, because without the party members around him, he can just be a person that is more counterproductive towards the people around him, and he won't be afraid of manipulating people, he won't be afraid of sacrificing people, he won't be afraid of breaking moral boundaries, and going into the gray, or even going towards the evil for a little while just to pursue the first part, right? And because in the end, like, he's apathetic, he doesn't really care about that, and it's going to be the journey with the party that really helps him be more empathetic and to be more about like proactivity, and to be someone that it's not just about writing about being a hero, it's about actually being a hero and pursuing that idea. So it's about these two complement each other really well, hopefully, because he's trying to find his own identity and the ability to be someone that the Fair Ones can be proud of. And in that attempt, he ends up going on a journey that slowly teaches him what it means to be a hero and to be someone that people can look up to and people can rely on. And if he does do this, and you know, the DM wants to run it in the end one day, then you know what, he's gonna end up learning what the clan of the last Tempest had that got them voted in, and maybe that those qualities that he ends up learning about helps in his pursuit. You know, he comes back and he ends up becoming a person that the Genasi can really believe in, and feel as though he could lead and represent the rest of the tribe, or the rest of the people that live there, the kingdom. So I think that's overall the story here. And you know, it is in the airplane, and it is something that's a little abstract, so I totally can see, you know, the DM not running the story or like doing much on it, or even just waiting for a very, 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 very long time. But I think it's something that is a really cool thing to play with, and it really allows him to be free and to be played however I feel at the time, because he's a bard, so he's naturally and mechanically diverse, but also on the other sense, like, he is as a person very similar to the wind, right? It can change at any moment, and he is gonna have to learn about respect, and he's gonna have to learn about heart, and he is gonna have to learn about courage and honor, and about self-sacrifice, and to not self-indulge, and to be self-obsessive and disassociative and stuff. And so I think that's going to be really cool, and it's going to be a little tricky. I mean, towards the beginning, I'm going to be having to be pretty manipulative and using and that sort of thing, condescending maybe. I don't want to overplay it though, like, I want people to fall in love with this character. But I think that it's a lot more fleshed out, and I think it's a lot more captivating than the last character that I had. Like I said, like my last character was literally just like Vengeance Paladin. You know, he has an attitude. He loses control of his holy power every once in a while, and he ends up feeling as though like preemptive is sometimes better than reactive, and he's young and reckless. Those are kind of like the main things about him, and it felt weird because I was playing a paladin, and even though he was all vengeance oriented, it still made it really difficult because, you know, people would be like, oh, but he's good, like why are you debating on killing these goblins when they could be really good people like they say? And it's like, well, it doesn't matter if they say that they're good, they're most likely not. And that's how my character thought, right? But it just became hard because, like, the character was supposed to be like, okay, I don't know names very well, it takes me a long time to learn names, and also I'm not afraid of making mistakes and taking sacrifices that people normally would be afraid to take. And what was the other thing? He was also like hot-headed, and it's just difficult because a character that was supposed to be hot-headed and proactive and all this sort of shit isn't really me as a person, and so I found it really difficult to play. And I think that's a big thing that people talk about a lot, is like you have to play parts of yourself, or like take a part of yourself and then like throw a bunch of shit at it and then like build it into something. So then there's at least a little bit of empathy that you can throw into your character. I remember fuck, what is his name? Taliesin Jeffrey, he was talking about it. He's like, yeah, you gotta take something that's personal and like accentuate it. And so I think that's what I'm doing here. It's like, obviously I'm not, this is essentially a sociopath, but like obviously I'm not that. It's just, you know, I have a few themes here that I think everyone has, where it's like trying to find your identity and trying to learn what it means to be the person that you want to be. Because sometimes it's really easy for someone to go, I want to be X type of person, but then sometimes it's along the journey you realize like what needs to be done, or what type of person you need to be that person. And that's kind of like what he's going to find out about. So just the last thing I want to test out, because it's supposed to capture this. Base inspiration. Huh. Yeah, I would have to edit scene and make this larger then, wouldn't I? No. Oh, I'll figure this out. I'm playing around with new things that I don't normally do with OBS. Usually I keep it really basic. So anyway, that's gonna be that for now, and then I think I might quickly go eat and then do the Steam stream. But hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I might do more like D&D story-esque kind of stuff, just off the side. Like I do sessions on Sundays. Like maybe I'll start doing more stuff that's just like, hey, like I'm going to be writing about certain characters, or I'm going to be talking about certain characters that we met on Sunday, or certain situations and stuff. The only reason why I haven't been doing that is just because it's a lot of the people that watch my content are people that know me or are familiar with the channel, and so it kind of ruins their perspective, because it's not just the characters, it's the viewers. Like there's a couple of people that watch it each week, so I don't want to ruin it for them, where it's like I start talking about something and I'm like, yeah, so you know, how about that Adris, and then people are like, oh, and then it spoils the whole story, right? And so it's like, oh, okay, well it's hard, so I need to figure that out. But especially with like certain characters. Like every character has their own little secret at this point that I can think of. Because like I mean, who doesn't have their own skeletons in their closet, right? Like not all of them are bad skeletons, but you know, some of them are named Steve and they help you out. But, so what I think I'm gonna do, and I'm sure that people won't care for this, but I think I might leave the stream on and then go eat, and then just like have a thing. It just like makes it really difficult because people watching this after the live stream are gonna have a lot of problems. So let's go take these two off, and then we'll replace this with how long does it take for me to make that pie? Probably 20 minutes, no? So for people who are watching this live, I'll be back in like that time. If you guys are not watching this live, it's currently 8:15. So I would just like skip forward probably to half an hour after this current moment, and I'll probably be back and everything's good. If you mouse over the timeline as well, if this image is gone, then most likely I'm back. That's also another easy way. Because these naturally just go right up to YouTube. So, yeah, 30 minutes from now on the timeline should be good. Everyone else, I'll just keep the beats and the music. Give me 1 second, I'm gonna start running some stuff in a moment. It's a bit on the odd side, don't you think? Alright. And then I'm going to... Okay. Sorry guys, just like working this. And then Battle refresh. Oh, fuck off. Hey, no, not that one. That one. Okay. Cool. There we go, guys. So I am gonna try this out. I've never played it before. It's a little bit on the loud side. Let me just fix that real quick. There we go. I'm gonna try and pull up chat. Cool. Alright, so I know nothing right now. I get nothing. It's just all outfits and shit. Wait, is Battle Royale always been free? Complete tutorial. Oh, okay, cool. Do I have to pick her though? Can I pick anyone?
Come play with us. Just to be sure, I'm not responsible for any collateral damage. Let's get on a show.
I will hunt and I will find.
Want to see a magic trick?
Oh, Jesus, he's new.
Let our powers combine. It is always a good time.
Who are you?
I think she's new too.
Somewhere out there.
And her.
Scream for me.
I think him.
Always. The arena is mine. I am your choice.
I don't remember him
I am
either.
one with
Or
my
her.
goods.
For the battle. I am great choice.
Nothing better than a good battle.
I will fulfill my task.
Beginner friendly is the thing.
Meet Moon and Star.
Aid me, holy
Yeah,
light.
he's new too. I think this guy was the newest character on the normal battle right when I was playing. Alright,
So many impressions. It's overwhelming. This is gonna be a blast. Let's get on a show. So many impressions. It's overwhelming.
cool. Abilities. Launch a cold bolt. Deal 2 bonus damage and adds chill. They move slower. Whenever you inflict freeze, your frost bolts are empowered for 3 seconds. Deal 4 damage and inflict chill even on targets without chill. So this adds chill duration to enemies already affected by chill. Projectile Lance deals a lot more damage, inflicts chill, deals 6 damage to enemies already affected by chill, breaks freeze, dealing damage. And then that's there. Legendary bonus increased by 1 second and the ice lance explodes upon a hit for each next freeze. Inflicts chill to nearby enemies and soar gracefully to target location. In case target ally with an ice for 2 seconds, making them immune to disables and blocking up to 26 damage. They can't move or use abilities while encased and heal. So this is mostly like Lysandra ult on herself. Call down a frozen star at the target location and deals damage, inflicts chill, inflicts freeze instead to people that are already affected by chill. So like these two afflict chill, and this one inflicts freeze. Ice Crown. Launch a fragile sculpture that knocks enemies away. Blocks enemy attacks for 1 second. Okay, so that's still like, it's a defensive thing, but it's chill. Make a Path of Frost. After a 9-second delay, the path deals 30 damage and inflicts freeze to enemies in the area. Okay. Alright. Kinda get her. That's kind of cool. They have like different weapons. It's kind of cool. Poses. And mounts. Sure. That's all I got. Alright, cool. So accept. Play. So let's see how this goes. What was the message, by the way? Oh, concept art designs. Cool. Alright, can I control myself while I fall? Yeah. And I can't do anything while I fall.
I'll show them how combat can be beautiful.
Okay, yeah, that's done. Amassing. And it seems as though, like, my... Okay, no, that was just... Yeah, it's my movement that does that. I just was coincidentally... Mounting increases your movement speed. Casting ability dismounts you. Taking damage while mounted dismounts you and slows you temporarily. But there's some sort of carroty thing here. Oh, you just like move faster if you press it. And I assume brush hide, yeah, hides you. You start every match with your primary ability. Abilities are displayed at the bottom of your screen. Hold left mouse button to attack. Attacks will go in the direction of your cursor. Okay. Oh, that's why. Alright, cool.
Death vortex approaching.
Look out for loot orbs. They contain abilities and equipment. Okay. So I have to break it, right? Oh, is that lag? You've attained a new ability. Activate it to unleash your powerful attack. Abilities and you cool down after being used for further can be used again. Cool. Do I have like an actual timer? You've attained mobility ability. This allows you to internally combat quickly. Okay.
Ultimate ready. You played your part perfectly.
Cool. Okay. Cool. So I still had plenty of time, but can I like search different things in here? Oh. So what's gold for? It says like 211 out of 900. That motherfucker. Oh.
Nice pose.
You found a nice piece of equipment. Equipment boosts a variety of stats, including health, damage, movement speed. Okay. So mine increases health, damage, and healing. I guess like yeah, my one ability would give me that. Gold. Boots of speed. Maximum speed, maximum health. So I should really be looting these things, I guess. And I assume like if I die, then I lose all my gold or something. Wait. Well, that's awkward. I guess I could always just like mount. Ice Block. You've tamed a new ability. You can unlock up to 5 additional abilities total. Press Q to use my new ability. Yeah, that doesn't sound like a good idea right now because the zone's coming in. But I can do this.
Death Vortex incoming.
So is damage permanent in this game? Do I see my health bar? Is that my health bar at the top? No, that's the vortex. Oh, my health bar is on top of my head. Duh. Okay. Enemy champion nearby. You win matches by being the last one standing. Yeah, it's rogue. Okay. Found an upgrade. All abilities and equipment have 4 different rarities. The item becomes more powerful the higher its rarity. Legendary even grant unique perks. So I already have all these, but I did get some sort of ability, no? Yeah, rare. What is this? Healing Shrine. Minimap objects that can aid you in battle. Okay. So you have to like actually discover them first. Breastplate of Vitality. Okay, can't open this. Let's keep going. Is this my alt charge? Looks like it. And that's the dead guy. Telling you about this, like, is just, I don't know. Riding saddle. Dismount, cast time, 10% chance on strike to grab a shield.
Ultimate ready. A cold embrace. The spirit of a warrior frozen in time.
So my girl seems like she has low mobility, but like high damage. Or she's just like really good at controlling. Some loot orbs are indestructible and can only be unlocked by standing still in front of them. So they're like actual loot orbs in like... Oh, okay. So those are like high risk, high reward things. Okay, and that's number 1. Ice Lance is epic. So now I do more damage.
Death vortex incoming. What an exemplary subject. Ultimate ready.
Oh, merchant. Oh, so that's what the gold is for. Cool. So I can upgrade my flash ability, my breastplate of vitality.
Very cool.
Cool. Healing potion I can get more of. Flash freeze is my E. I don't have that yet. Do I? Did I have that? I don't think I did. Last champion, defeat him to claim victory. Okay. I'm pretty like souped up. So what do I do here?
The spirit of a warrior grows any time.
Okay. I don't know if I can suck at this game. I can already tell.
There's nothing like art.
I need a mobile character. That would be super handy. I'm loving that idea.
So many impressions.
Who shot first? Well,
I strike when least expected.
I'm pretty sure from what I remember, I played this character a lot. Welcome to Battle Royale. Oh, so we can actually choose what we start with. Rock.
15 seconds remaining.
Prowl.
3, 2,
That's probably what I want to
1.
do. Mobility and oh, that's for sure. Do I choose when I jump out? Yeah. Oh, that's very interesting. I really want Ancient Tomb. That's what I like right now. You can't fall fast, you're right.
My bow is eager for new prey. Spectacular.
What is this guy? Okay, if he's over there, then who really gives a shit, right? This is my zone. Pretty quiet so far. A really good space ability. I have 20 seconds for the circle to be my zone. So I kind of lucked out there.
First blood.
There you go.
New event.
Chests are spawning around the these areas. Oh, what the fuck? Whoops. I did not mean to do that at all.
The death vortex is incoming.
Okay, well, I might as well control this area. Someone across this bridge. So, anything else for this space? Finding haste. Rain of arrows, steady shot. Okay. Do not have my ultimate yet.
New event.
The fuck? Why are you running? Come here, motherfucker. Ah, shit. What the hell is this guy doing? Dude, what the hell? Okay, cool. So that's why he was running away. He wanted to escape. Oh.
Very good.
That was a rocket booster. Number 3. Rocket boost. Oh, wait, oh. Rocket boost away and grab the first enemy hit. Destroy an explosive barrel and explode. Oh, okay, okay. I feel like someone was here. Trap kit. I don't know what they carrot. Oh, the carrots make me run faster, right? I don't hear anyone here. I have a crap ton of HP now. This guy was exploring this area. I need to like be closer to the fucking keyboard for this game if I'm playing this game. I have a lot of gold actually. I should probably be looking for better items through gold. What is my R? Become immaterial and movement speed increases by 100%, removes movement impairing effects.
The death vortex is
Okay.
incoming.
Cool. Where's the death vortex? I'm in it. Like, I'm in the dead center, right? No, I'm right here. Stealth potion. 2. Oh shit, no, that's not what I want. Whatever. I have a lot of gold. Okay, cool. How many people are alive? Is there anyone? Oh, 5? Okay. Oh, someone died nearby. These are broken as well, so someone went south. There's probably a lot of bush camping in this game.
Death vortex incoming.
Yeah. So it takes time to like actually drink these as well. That's the other thing I need to realize. So there's 3 people left. Where's the next circle? Don't know yet. Cool. Ooh, dead guy. Nearby too. I can't carry on more gold. Cool. Cool.
The death vortex is incoming.
Someone's over here. Oh shit. I'm not invisible anymore. Lol. So there's 3 people alive, including myself. Controlling the merchant's probably the best strategy. Someone's north of me. Someone's right here.
Killing spree.
What?
Rampage.
Cool. So there's charges to that ability. I can do that one.
Collect your trophies.
So that's kind of cool. Like, it's... I wish there was music, though. Because, like... It's very quiet. Like, even if there was, like, ambience or something like that. Is that just, like, in settings and I didn't realize? Champions achievements. More options. Sound. Enable music, yeah. Sound and background. Like maybe that. I'll try it. Because like the only thing that I don't like is I just really don't like that there's just nothing for a while. So so I do like this.
15 seconds left. Three, two, one.
Okay, where should I go this time? This looks like a fun little area. Let's do that. Yeah, this is like the fun zone.
Don't throw caution to the wind.
Blood.
Cool, I have a healing potion now.
Ultimate ready. Let's finish this.
Are you kidding me? Cool. Cool. that many characters in the game. I feel like going to the market would be my priority here. Because like this area looks like it's been searched. So I'm just looking for as big of a boost as I can get. So like Rain of Arrows or Hunting Arrow. And then damage versus chest, gold game max health. Probably a good idea. Okay, where's the circle? I'm in the circle.
The death vortex is incoming.
What the heck is that? Oh, it just allows me to like go back down. I can like see people or whatever.
New event.
That allows me to like reposition, right?
New event.
Airdrop will appear in 3 seconds. Cool. Let's go there. I wish that the button was on, like I might do tab on a mouse button or something. Cause like this feels really weird. What does that mean? Oh, it takes time to settle, eh? Wonder if people put those jump pads down before. Need more gold. Oh. Did she just run away? Yeah.
The death vortex is incoming.
Oh, that's why she got the sheep medallion. And how do I activate this? For a short period of time I can like like, do you see what I mean about it like being really quiet? Cool. Fake chest. Ninja hook. It's a blue item though. Cool. Well, I mean, sure. So do I need like one more kill and then I become like legendary or something?
The death vortex is incoming.
Is this also brush? Yeah. Barrel disguise. That's fine. Okay, where are we going? That's funny. I like that. Like, put dramatic music in with it. Can I cancel it by like attacking? There's only one other dude in here.
Death vortex incoming.
I kind of want to just try it out. Just a friendly reminder that if you guys are using chat, to use the Twitch Malthus1 account rather than the YouTube. I won't see the YouTube until after the stream, just because I'm using Restream, so I'm using both. So just heads up. So if you're on YouTube and I'm not responding, that's why. I just can't open up multiple chat screens right now. So there's someone to my right. Pretty strong right now, guy. Come on. Oh, I just want to try out the barrel thing. Oh, if you stay still for too long, it like moves you like that? That's cool. I like that. What the hell? Sir? Excuse me, sir? Excuse me? Excuse me, sir?
Dominating.
Okay. It's a nice idea. It's a bit simple. I think obviously with players though, it kind of brings it a little bit more complexity to it. Like if I was actually playing with players and not playing with computers. But like I do that for a while until I'm like fully comfortable.
Where is the challenge?
So maybe if I played Jade.
Well, I always shoot
Do I still
first.
have any of her skins? No. Yeah, it's that and these. Which they're okay, but sure. And these are kind of like the currency and stuff like that. There used to be like quests and things, but I don't know if there still is that. Okay, so She's a lot shorter range.
"15 seconds remaining."
I'd probably do like that.
3, 2, 1.
This and this. And then where are we going? Seems like no one left this area.
My guns are ready and loaded.
So I already have a pretty strong Do I gain levels for unlocking these? Okay, so I have stealth now. How long does the stealth last? Duration 2.4 seconds. And then we have the circles, like pretty much the whole map. Do not have my spacebar yet, so I have little to no mobility. She's interesting because it seems as though I have no damage. I have like killer range with that ability.
New event.
Just spawning around these areas. I guess. You know, I would rather 30 seconds, right? So I'd rather go to the Glimmering Woods and see what's up right there.
The Death Vortex is incoming. First blood.
Yo, I'm Jade. I haven't even gotten space yet. That's crazy. Do you know where the new circle is? Not yet. How much gold do I have? 400. I might as well just buy space. Where are these? Okay, so people are behind me. Space. Overshot.
Fantastic.
That should be good.
New event.
Airdrop will appear in 30 seconds. Really fucking far from me. Okay, someone just got killed at the ancient tome too. Or tomb. I guess I should be using those. don't really care about that, but I do kind of care about that. And then like, cool. Oh, it's purple outside. Okay. And then I can grab that Q in a second. Oh.
Death vortex incoming.
Ambush. That was a unique property. Do we naturally get gold over time? Yeah, we do. Huh. Okay, that's also something that's a little interesting. Okay, I'm gonna go to the merch.
Not bad.
Do not need an explosive barrel. Yes, that's pretty much it. I mean... Oh, that's explosive barrel. I'm stupid. Okay. Fuck, the airdrops are like right there. People still aren't going to them. I mean, it's computers though, so... Oh. Let's go make our way over there. Say hello. Hello, hello. Looking for Mr. Computer Man. Whoa! Why are you leaving me? Hello?
Death vortex incoming.
Ultimate ready. Take this!
Killing spree.
And I'll get rid of that for the Reaper's Edge, and then I'll get rid of teleport target to a nearby location. Oh, so it's like flash. Just 2 people left. Oh. Be super awkward if they're on that side. How do you even get over here? That'd be like super unfortunate. You'd have to like make it over immediately. So what's this bar underneath? Is that my energy? Also, should I like go to that? I have 10 seconds. I'm gonna try and go to the vendor.
Death vortex approaching.
Oh, it's actually pretty quick. So if I was a betting man, I'd say that he's coming in from this side. Boop doop. I have been wrong before. So we should have music like this all the time.
Vortex approaching.
What the hell? Who the hell is this person? I guarantee you that person's right there. It's the computer's just like stuck. Oh shit. I guarantee you're gonna win that way. Yeah. Yeah. I fucking knew it. It was. That's so dumb. The one thing that I don't like is that, like, there's no, like, build. You know what I mean? Like with League and with other MOBAs, you have, like, builds. Like, with even with Heroes of the Storm, you, like, pick what you upgrade and stuff. And if they're fully going with the whole idea of
I am worthy.
is they're going with that whole idea of like customization and class-based Royale. I think that's a big
I
deal.
swear I just saw my little sister Lucy. My mind must be playing tricks on me.
This guy sounds like my alley. Throw 2 magical cards. Each steal enemies implies hearts to allies. But I mean, that's no bueno for me. A piercing projectile deals damage and reflects arcane catalyst. So they'll take more damage. Bounces upon wall, hit up to 1 time, but cannot hit an enemy more than once. Turn immaterial and dash in target location, leaving an illusion where you stood. Duplicate copies of your trick shot casts, throwing a single card. Place a portal at target location that teleports allies one at a time. Moving them from the fight for 1.4 seconds before reappearing at a target destination of your choice. Teleporting an illusion increases its duration by 1 second and grants you the ability to cast portal. Okay, that's fucking confusing. Turn enemies inside target area into harmless creatures, reducing movement speed by 40%, rendering them unable to use any abilities. If the target takes 20 damage, then the effect is broken. Enlighten the target location, healing allies over 2 seconds. Conjure Grand Illusion at a target position. Copies your trick shot and Grand Conjuration casts, and also assist you in performing Cheap Trick, increasing its radius by 25%. I don't know if this guy would be any good at the Battle Royale, but I mean, fuck it, let's try. It's just AI, so this might be my last one though. Okay, so we want mirror image, and we probably want this, and then cool.
15 seconds remaining.
My distance is pretty short. Is it really that long?
1.
My magic will both impress and overwhelm.
Hello? Okay, so far my left click is absolute garbage. That takes fucking forever. forever. I think this character is trashed here. Holy shit, what? Like, he's not even very mobile when he does that. What is this? Is this just better stuff?
Amazing.
I'm a bit faster, yeah. Interesting.
New event.
I guess complexity, it would be like... Ooh. I have all my abilities.
Ultimate ready. Now the prestige.
Not a huge.
New event.
Can you stop?
You most definitely overstayed your welcome.
The click needs to be better, man. This is brutal.
Double kill.
Damn.
Ultimate ready.
Isn't this better? Epic. I like this character. I like his playstyle. I do not like how he's too much of a support.
Remarkable.
Legendary.
Remarkable.
I'm okay with not
Death
having
vortex approaching.
the like ultimate ability. Or sorry, the sheep thing. I think if you're dead, you're generally dead anyway.
Amazing.
Damage versus chest, gold gain, max health. This is max health, crowd control reduction. Yeah, like that's probably like early game stuff. Key rings. Heard someone in here. Yeah.
Show begin. Astounding.
Rapid potion. Sure, that has like some sort of practical use. Oh yeah, I can heal myself. Okay, let's just find out where this person is. Can I use this?
Death vortex incoming.
Oh, it can be used now. Does that mean like someone recently used it?
Amazing.
The fuck is a meteor? Oh god, there's so many of these. Okay, let's go.
The death vortex is incoming.
God dang it. Where is this guy? Hello? Do something that we don't end it with another guy dying to the vortex. There's. He knows I'm there even though I'm stealthed. Yo, nice strats, dude.
Ultimate ready. Who's the greatest of them all? Escort this contestant out. Ta-da!
Death vortex incoming.
I understand
He's
now what my sister
an
Lucy
interesting
sees.
character. He's like prolonged battles, trickery, and maneuverability. But I still think like he's not the greatest character. Anyway, let's open these up before we are finished. Huh. Okay. That's interesting. So you can have up to 30 people. $400 gold. And diamonds, I assume, are like real money. Get ready for the journey with the Legendary Adventure Pack. this person's only available through gold. Oh, okay, cool. I'm okay with that. Do I have all the champions? Okay. So like if I go to, let's say, Xander, you know, and I'm like, I like him, but he could be doing with a better costume. That's kind of cool. 6,000. I mean, that one's kind of okay as well. That one's alright. That's kind of dumb. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of these so far. Can be found in Royale chests. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I kind of like that. We got avatars. Titles. Guess that would be based off of the champions that you use. Mounts. Yeah, these are all gonna be for real money and for the things. The fuck? That's cool. Twitch TV. What the hell? That looks kind of cool. Interesting. Quests. Oh, I didn't even know we had quests on here. Whoops. Placed in the top 5, but that's like actual PvP. And then collected 1,000 gold, play 6 matches. Yeah, cool. So you obviously don't get coins for playing bot matches, which is fine. I'm just like trying out some characters and figuring out what they do. Well, I think that's that. So, thanks guys for tuning in, and this should be online relatively at some point tonight or tomorrow. And with that, I think we're good. I'll see you guys later.